Apparently, Stardust corners for easier sweeping are a thing. Only 16 years after the JFK assassination, President Jimmy Carter rides sitting on top of the presidential limousine to greet the crowds. He ran on the platform of being honest, open, and the people's president. Psychopathic TV preacher Kenneth Copeland, wealth of $760 million, loses it when confronted about his use of private jets. The ancient city of Nimrud stood for 3,000 years in what is present-day Iraq until 2015, when it was reduced to dust in a single day by ICE militants. A 1.5 meter sphere appeared on Tuesday, 21, at Inshuhama Beach in Hamamatsu, Japan. Police surrounded the area and cordoned off a perimeter of 200 meters until the type of metallic material was identified. The country's self-defense forces were called in. Mars on the left, Earth on the right. Thousands of tattooed inmates pictured in El Salvador mega prison. David Vetter Bubble Boy spent his entire life in a bubble. He suffered from severe combined immunodeficiency and eventually died at the age of 12. Anybody familiar with green honey? My dad's bees made green honey FL, and we have no idea what they got into. So apparently, Russians wrestle with bears, and the bears enjoy it. I don't know. Born today, both parents are white as snow. Stuart Townsend, 27, was in his second day of filming The Lord of the Rings when director Peter Jackson replaced him with Viggo Mortensen, 41. Desmond Thomas Doss was a United States Army corporal who served as a combat medic with an infantry company in World War II. He refused to carry any firearm whatsoever and went on to save 75 men in the Okinawa and would earn the Medal of Honor for it. This 1,400-year-old ginkgo tree that looks like an explosion. Danish police have an online squad that plays Counter-Strike Global Offense, Fortnite, Minecraft etc. with young people. This is to prevent fraud, hate speech, and grooming. All the officers stream live on Twitch. Reality TV series River Monsters was over because Jeremy Wade captured every large freshwater fish variety, therefore the show had no more content left. Show was on Animal Planet. Someone followed pro-Russian protesters in Germany with circus music turned on. 17-year-old Julian Cope was snacked out of an airplane in 1971 after it was struck by a bolt of lightning. She fell 2 miles to the ground, strapped to her seat, and survived after she endured 10 days in the Amazon jungle. On February 19, 2013, Canadian tourist Elisa Lam's body was found floating inside of a water tank at the Cecil Hotel, where she was staying after other guests complained about the water pressure and taste. Footage was released of her behaving erratically in a elevator on the day she was last seen alive. Dashrath Manshi cut the road through a mountain over 22 years to shorten the distance from his village to the nearest hospital from 70 kilometers to 1 kilometer. Michael Tolitis lived for 82 years without ever knowing what a woman looks like. Patient with madder lung disease. A Wild West rifle sat undisturbed for 132 years. The third man factor or third man syndrome refers to the reported situations where an unseen presence such as a spirit provides comfort or support during traumatic experiences. The water quality in Warsaw, the capital city of Poland, is monitored by clams. If the water gets too toxic, they close, and the triggers shut off the city's water supply automatically. A croc with a mutation. Massive 5-acre fire has broken out a warehouse storing plastic plant pots in Kissimmee, Florida. Hazmat teams are monitoring air quality due to the large amount of smoke coming from the burning plastics. Residents with breathing issues should remain indoors. Future President Teddy Roosevelt can be seen in this picture of Lincoln's funeral. A normal silverback gorilla can deadlift 1800 pounds and they are around 8 times stronger than a human male. They walk relying on their hands like feet and can crush a crocodile's skull with their grips. After salmon breed, most of the time, they'll start to visibly rot alive, although the process starts when they begin their journey upstream. A man who disappeared while out riding his quad bike was discovered 8 days later in the belly of a shark. How is this not the world's most watched show? There's a TV show in Iceland called Keeping Up with the Kardashians. It's a 24-hour live broadcast of cats in a tiny model house. Eminem's hit Lose Yourself is the first rap song in history to win an Oscar for the best original song. Eminem didn't even bother to watch the awards. Instead he was watching cartoons with his daughter that night and went to sleep because he never thought there was even a chance for him winning. The city of Brighton and Hove, England passed a law in 2022 for all new buildings constructed to have bee bricks. These bricks are designed for solitary bees that aren't part of a hive, to live in. This effort is meant to try to reduce the bee population's drastic decline in recent years. On-demand male contraceptive pill could switch your spam off for a day. It renders male mice infertile within an hour and wears off in less than a day, potentially pointing towards a future on-demand male contraceptive. Built at great sacrifice, Old London Bridge was by far the longest inhabited bridge in Europe. It was considered a wonder of the world and seen with enormous pride by Londoners. Both rich and poor donated heavily to its upkeep, often leaving bequeaths to God in the bridge. Saudi Arabia has released a promotional video for the Muqab, an imposing 400-meter tall cube-shaped skyscraper in Riyadh large enough to hold 20 Empire State Buildings. Brutal end to Atherstone Ball Game 2023. The last half an hour of the Pancake Day tradition saw punches thrown and a betting shop damaged as teams battled to gain control of an oversized ball. To this day the IRS operates on 60-year-old coding on mainframe computers. Internal Revenue Service building. 60% of babies are born during the day, between 6 AM and 6 PM. And 3.5 times as many babies are born at exactly 8 AM, the most common minute to be born, than at the least common, 3:09 AM. The ghost ship Jenny was found with a crew frozen solid. The captain's last entry is chilling and says, May 4th 1823. No food for 71 days. I'm the only one left alive. A cease and desist letter I received from Funimation back in 2003. Delivery person in Wuhan using exoskeleton to help him carry more parcels. Byers became infamous when he developed Raditha jaw. a disease brought on by the ingestion of radium. Before his early death from cancer, the entire lower half of his face fell off as a result of his exposure to the deadly radioactive material. Australian police seized drug dealer's phone that they believe may be used as firearm. Ballistics tests yet to confirm its effectiveness. The strangest raccoon I have ever seen. R. Kelly, who is already serving 30 years, is sentenced to 20 years in prison in Chicago federal Lex Chimes case. The message on the teleprompter after MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell went over time at the CPAC conference. Please end now. Seriously. Flights between Australia and South America pass near the Antarctic coastline. No one flies over the Antarctic. These wheelchair-friendly stairs. Brazilian nurse kills loan shark over 12,000 Brazilian real debt. Treated for not paying the debt, the woman arranged an ambush and killed the loan shark. The blood vessels of someone who donated their body for scientific display purposes. A pair of cave lion cubs that died up to 44,000 years ago were found perfectly preserved in the Siberian permafrost. Wanted to share my fallout vault door. Recently bought a house, and it had a bomb shelter in it. Concrete and rubber 12 inches thick ceiling, walls and floor. Installed the safe door with 4 guys lifting it up as it weighs 500 pounds. Rage Against the Machine guitarist Tom Morello's mother, Mary, is a 99-year-old anti-sea swordship activist who founded the Parents for Rock and Rap to counter Tipper Gore's pro-sea swordship PMRC. A stealth bomber was caught on a Google Maps satellite. A leaf-tailed gecko, found in the wild only on the island of Madagascar. Saw Cupid 19 testing pods for sale today. NASA astronaut snaps amazing photo of auroras from space station. The chief baker of RMS Titanic, Charles Cowan, who was drunk, helped load women and children into the lifeboats, refused a seat for himself, threw deck chairs overboard for passengers to use as flotation devices, and survived hours swimming in the freezing water until he was rescued. The winner of the Miss Atomic Bomb pageant, 1950, Las Vegas. The only known picture of 11-year-old gang member Robert Yummy Sandifer. In 1994 he was sent on a mission to kill a rival gang member, but hit 14-year-old Shavandine by accident, fatally wounding her. Yummy went on the run and was later executed by his fellow gang members. This exquisite rice art. Mars Patronas, a volunteer group of women who distribute life-saving food and water to migrants traveling through Mexico. My Last Supper draw. I tried to bring a metallic aspect on this one using the graphite tonality. Hope you all enjoy and hope this fits here. A Peruvian man was found carrying around a 600-year-old mummy in his cooler bag, calling it his spiritual girlfriend. It was male. Shiny clear lemon pie. Adolf Hitler's Jewish childhood doctor, Edward Bloch, treated Hitler's dying mother for free because he had never seen anyone so overwhelmed with grief as then 18-year-old orphan Adolf Hitler. The Persian king Aga Muhammad Khan gave orders to execute 2 servants for being loud. Eventually it was a holy day. He delayed the section for a day and had the servant back to duty. They murdered the king in his sleep at night. If we are doing honey, here is purple honey from North Carolina. A meme that's considered to be the first. The Judge, 1921. How you think you look when a flashlight is taken. How you really look. Wisconsin octopus. Old Garfield landline telephones have been washing up on the same beach in France for over 30 years. Finnish artist Liisa Hietanen crochets life-sized replicas of people. Marilyn Monroe on her wedding day. She was married just 18 days after her 16th birthday in order to escape being returned to an orphanage. This Hungarian kid was born with full head of grey hair. McDonald's prices in 1974. What Elvis Presley would look like now, aged 88. On many Japanese toilets, the hand wash sink is attached so that you can wash your hands and reuse the water for the next flush. Japan saves millions of liters of water every year. Tom Cruise during the shooting of the movie Mission Impossible in Dubai. Taipei Metro has a light indicator to tell passengers if it's raining outside. Square donuts have 27% more donut per donut and take up roughly the same space as a round one. Mount Roraima in Venezuela used to be level to the ground, but earth plates caused it to rise straight up without creating peaks. $330 million worth of cocaine seized in Ecuador before it was shipped to Belgium in banana containers. I'm in Gunpo, South Korea. I found a guy in Montevideo, Uruguay, the exact opposite side of the world. Today we made an earth sandwich, 8 AM for me, 8 PM for him. I love the internet. The same tree during all 4 seasons. Here's a type of sword from ancient Persia called the Aconakes. The Fiat car factory in Italy had bank test track on the roof. This Lego ring. Tomorrow, March 3rd, 2023 at 2 hours, 2 minutes and 2 seconds, is the 3rd second of the 3rd minute of the 3rd hour of the 3rd day of the 3rd month of the 3rd year of the 3rd decade of the 3rd millennium. The world's oldest underground station, Baker Street, England, 160 years apart. Effective camouflage. A detailed sand sculpture of a robot rhino. This Gogo Uberi graffiti art using a parking chain. The man who refused to salute Hodler. Long exposure meteor shower over Wyoming. Malcolm X explaining why the Nation of Islam and Elijah Muhammad are conspiring to assassinate him, after he condemns Elijah's assertion that all white people are devils. 1965. Geode formation carved and polished to form a skull. The gharial, also known as the fish-eating crocodile, which is found in parts of India. The way this little yellow fish uses this jellyfish for propulsion and protection. An extremely rare postage stamp from 1968 China that reads "The whole country is red." It was quickly pulled from circulation after release. Can you guess why? The veins of this leaf. Try zooming in. Sergeant Stubby the dog was a small terrier who was adopted by a group of soldiers during World War I. Stubby was also known for his bravery. During one particularly fierce battle, Stubby ran into no man's land to retrieve a message that had been dropped by a carrier pigeon. Despite the danger, Stubby managed to retrieve the message and bring it back to his unit, earning himself a medal for bravery. He also found a German spy and reported it to the soldiers by barking in the trenches, even biting him, and also barked to warn the men of incoming artillery shells and mustard gas. Stockholm phone tower, 1887. There's a restaurant outside Omaha, Nebraska where the dining entertainment is watching raccoons eat food scraps off the back porch. Found a meg tooth today on the Georgia coast, the 5th of March 2023. House 1 is a sculpture by Roy Lichtenstein. It's based on the hollow face illusion, which makes it appear inside out, or normally, depending on which way the viewer sees it. 16th century ring that unfolds into an astronomical sphere. In 1839, Robert Cornelius took the world's first selfie 184 years ago. Garden and house in Ryunin, Shizuoka, Japan. Cabrini Green resident explaining why the neighborhood is being gentrified. Cabrini Green was a housing project in the affluent north side of Chicago. The neighborhood was torn down and redeveloped, and all former Cabrini residents were relocated to other ghettos in the city. 2010. CPD officers deleting Burger King footage of the killing of 17-year-old Laquan McDonald, who was shot to death in 2014. Nearly 16 officers were involved in this cover-up. Jason Van Dyke was later charged and sentenced to 6 years in prison in 2019, but got out in 3 on good behavior. This is our muscle tissue enlarged 100 times. Here is an origami golden dragon egg that I made from one uncut 60cm square of paper over a period of 2 months with the help of my friend and artificial intelligence. This is a photo of Mount Hood, Oregon that my great-grandfather took in the 1940s. My great-grandmother then colorized it by hand.